Attention Caribbean authors and creators. Are you looking to elevate your literary journey? This is Kevin George, your host and presenter from TLC Tropical Literature Creatives, and I'm thrilled to share an exciting opportunity with you, introducing our bespoke promotional services designed exclusively for authors of Caribbean heritage. Whether you're a seasoned professional or a rising star, we're here to amplify your voice. From getting the word out about your book launch, your self-publishing services, or workshops, to sharing services that you offer to fellow authors and creatives. Visit our website or reach out to us today to explore how we can tailor our expertise to showcase your literary brilliance. Let's unlock the next chapter of success together. Greetings, listenership. Welcome to TLC Tropical Literature Creatives, the podcast where we interview authors of Caribbean heritage about themselves and about their literary works. Today we have with us Kemeisha Murray-Samuel, author of the book 30 Days to a Better You. 30 Days to a Better You by
21 days.
21?
Yeah, 21 days to a better me.
Why did I think it? Okay, I guess maybe 30 days, but I think it's 21 days to
A better
have a
me.
habit. Is it that?
No, 21 days to a better me. I don't know about the 30 days. And then I had 10 dates with time.
Okay, but just curious, is it that you chose 21 days because of that particular period of time to develop a habit, or was there another reason for it being 21 days and it not being 30 days?
Like I said, it was based on a mental health program that I did. So the program was for 21 days, and I just went ahead and each day I wrote a reflection. And then after I completed the program, I felt really different. So I just thought, why not just do a book and share?
Okay. I mean, that's interesting. Here it is, I'm mixing up the name, and lo and behold, there's an actual rationale and a reason for it being 21 days as opposed to being 30 days. But that's
Yes.
okay. Well, first off, apologies for butchering the name, but thanks for setting me straight where that is concerned. Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also which island are you from?
All right. I'm from the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a teacher by profession. Have been for the last 10 plus years and so. I also write a lot. I've been writing quite a lot since secondary school, since I could remember. I started off doing poems, then I went to calypsos, and presently I've been doing a lot of chorus speeches and so on. So yeah, St. Vincent is big on culture and I'm big on writing, so that's just who I am and where I get my motivation sometimes to write.
For the listeners who may not be acquainted with calypso, can you tell us a little bit about it? Because you said that you wrote poems, you did a bit of calypso. So, because I know that there are listeners who are not from the Caribbean who may not know what calypso is.
All right, so calypso is a genre of music that we Caribbean people use to tell a story. So let's say I have a calypso called 18. And at one point, I was trying to, get teachers, parents, children, all in the same line. Like, let's do this thing together when it comes to teaching and learning. So for me to tell the story now, I did a calypso, which is a song, a Caribbean style of music. And in the song, it's appealing to the parents that even you are the parent, you can't really raise a child on your own. Because when the child goes to school, the teachers are responsible from 9 to 3. Then they come back to you. So the only solution to having our children well-rounded is if we are all a team. So that's what Calypso does, sorry. It tells a story.
In terms of writing calypso, do you sing calypso as well?
I did once or twice, but then I didn't continue because I was just a mom, had my son and everything, and I had entered like this Calypso tent before, but after I had my son, I decided that's not for me.
Okay. But still, that. It seems that you have had like a colorful development where writing is concerned. And not just writing, but also performing the works that you would have written.
Oh yeah. I've done plays, I've done a lot of stuff for like church and so on. because I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in church. I go to church, and for me, developing youths, I think writing could save anybody. Because sometimes, like, if you look at it, my view is that I might not be able to express myself to someone, but I can write what I want to say in a song, in a poem, in a chorus speech, and people might not be willing to listen to a long, lengthy conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
you could summarize that whole conversation within 3 minutes, 2 minutes, a minute, and people will get the message. So for me, I think writing is a gift that could save anybody.
Aye. In terms of writing, do you find yourself, and you being also a teacher, do you find yourself teaching or guiding persons in the art of writing calypsos, poetry, that those genres?
Well, I have not really taught anybody per se because most times when I write, I do on my own. But I've developed this writing experience with my son where he does not like reading.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to read, I would have him tell me stories. So I'll say like, okay, let's write about a dog or a cat, and he'll tell me this story, and then I would write what he says, and then in the end we'll read it back together and so on. And I would say to my son, like, if you wanna be successful, you have to learn to read. But with reading comes writing. So if you don't like to read, at least you have to start writing. And then if you get to write, then you would love reading. So in terms of training others, it has not really been that part for me as yet because like I say, I have been, working on myself. And then the times I write is like most times in the night or early
Mm-hmm.
mornings. And then being a full-time mom and a full-time teacher, it's so hard to find that extra time. But maybe in the future, I would pick up that apart from like working with students in terms of compositions and essays. I've never really taught anybody calypso or chorus which or anything like that. But you've given me an idea I think I can work on.
All right. In terms of writing, and I know that you say that you don't do it professionally, but you seem to do a lot of it. Do you have a pattern, or do you have like how should I put this, a schedule in which you do your writing, like say maybe 6 o'clock every morning or 7 o'clock every night? Uh, do you have
Um,
a pattern where that is going?
no, I don't have a pattern really. Like I said, I'm the kind of person like I'll be sleeping and then there are times when I'm dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like let me give you an example. One time I was sleeping and I had this dream about a song. And in the song, my old primary school teacher was telling me that St. Vincent is royalty. And I jumped up my sleep and then and there I just wrote a whole calypso for the junior calypso competition. St. Vincent is royalty. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we didn't win anything or we didn't receive a placement in the top places, but years to come, you never know what that song will become. So for me, it's like something I do all the time. I don't have a special time. I just write all the time.
Hmm. Was that the same method that you used for writing this book, 21 Days?
Oh, I actually did my 21 days of reading. So sometimes I read it in the morning, sometimes I read it in the night, sometimes I read it at lunch. But one thing you can find is that wherever I go, I have a notebook,
Mm-hmm.
pens and pencils in my bag because sometimes I'm sitting and an idea just come to me and right there and then I pull out my book and I start writing. So you never know. For me, it's always an opportunity. So I'm always prepared to just
Always prepared to just.
write.
Oh, in terms of the book coming together, what was the process that you used? Was it similar to how it is you described writing before, where you would get like, let's say, inspiration and you would go about writing? Or was it that every day for 21 days you did writing and you put it aside?
I did. I actually did a journal. I still have my original copy. Each time I write, I keep my stuff in a folder. So I actually started writing, and each day I wrote, I read like the first days, like I read and I wrote, and then I found myself like I was developing this pattern where at first I was a bit shy in writing what I was experiencing. But then as I went on to the days, I started to dig a little deeper and like really express myself because I'm saying, well, nobody's gonna read this but me. But in the end, when I felt like my mental state was changing, I felt comfortable, I felt balanced. I say, why not just share it? Maybe it could do something for somebody similar in my position, you know? Because for me, like you found yourself in a place where you're like, okay, I can't do this no more. I can't do me no more. So let me see what's there. And I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw this free program to do mental health for 21 days. And I said, I can't kill it to read something for 21 days because every day of my life I have to read, you know? So I
Yes.
just tried,
You were saying you just tried.
yeah, I just tried it. And it happened to work out good on my part.
Okay. Uh, in terms of writing, how many books have you written so far? Published
So
books,
far,
I should say. Published books have you written so far?
so far I have 11 published books.
11.
And
That's mm-hmm.
and I have a few. Well, when I say a few, a lot, because I have been writing for many years. I just never had the opportunity to publish. So yeah, I have been writing a lot. I've published 11. At first, when I started, I seek the help of a publisher, but then after having conversations with several persons, I found out that I can publish on my own. So that's
Ah,
what I'm taking right now, self-publishing.
oh, can you tell us a little bit about the self-publishing process for those of us who are not familiar with it? Can you tell us a bit about it?
So what I normally do is that I would sit and write and then I would type and then I would edit my books. I use Grammarly to edit and
Mm-hmm.
I also use another program called Read Me, Please. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll put the book to Read Me and I'll have it read it back to me and then I'll pick up on errors and so on and so on. Because sometimes you edit and you think you corrected all your errors and then it's like when you publish the book you would see errors and then
Oh,
you have to pull it back and fix and all of that, which to me helps in your growing process. And then once I do that, I would go to the KDP site, the Kindle Direct Publishing, and
yes.
I would download the book cover according to the specifications and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
then I would use Canva to create my book covers and then I would upload on the KDP site and wait for them to, check and make sure it meets all the requirements and so on. And once it's passed, Amazon would just publish and you're there.
I mean, you just mentioned a couple of activities there. I
Hmm.
and you gained, I mean, from me listening, it sounds like you would have gained a number of skills during the time that you would have been a writer to the point where you would have been a publisher. I, me
Yeah.
having to maneuver and use tools such as Canva and the self-publishing tools. What other skills have you learned while choosing to have your books published?
Well, I have learned so many skills like okay, when I'm writing, first I used to write for me. But one of the skills I
Mhm.
picked up now is that when you're writing, you have to balance it. I always let my writing be true, but I balance it in a sense that who is it going to be appealing to? Do I want to appeal to children? Do I want to appeal to teenagers, adults? Another skill I learned is that you have to be so on point with your color coding. Like, are you sending a warm feeling just by looking at the cover? Are you sending a happy or a sad thought just by looking at the graphics and all that? And I've had to learn a lot of graphical skills. And I mean, I'm not an artist by profession, but over the years, I've been sketching for myself. And I even did one of my books using sketches. And I think when it's realistic, people tend to relate more than when you make up something. So far none of my writings have really been anything made up. They've all been true. There's always a story, something from my life that brought it true.
Interesting. I mean, it continues to astonish me when it is I talk to authors. the skills that they would have acquired when it is that they would have chosen to get their books published. Did anyone tell you what to expect when you were getting your book published? In terms of, was it an easy process, that the entire the amount of marketing that it would have required you to learn, these skills that you would have had to acquire in order to get your book published? Did anyone prepare you for that?
No, no one did at all. I mean, like I said, when I published my first book that I published,
Mm-hmm.
I actually wrote it way back, like 2014, around there, when I had my son. So I actually used to tell my son stories, and I had this story based on a tree that was close to me and all of that. So I did a story for my son. And I worked on the book. I did my own art and everything. And then I got a professional artist to replicate the drawings for me so that it would be more friendly to the eyes and so on. And then, like one day, I was having a conversation with this lady, and she was saying, "I have a friend who does publishing and so on and so on." She was asking like, "What you do?" And I say, "I write." And she was like, "You have anything you write? Let me see what you did." So I like, yeah, pull out my phone and I show her this book I had walking around for the longest while, and I haven't been able to get it published. And then she said, "Oh, I have this friend who does publishing, so let's send it." I sent the book and I'm thinking, well, I paid a publisher, so I'm gonna get it all published. And but what I did find out in the end is that even I paid to get it published, it's a self-publishing forum he used. So I still have to go and promote my book and all of that. And I tell you, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's not that easy to have marketing and so on. So hence when I saw your flyer, I was like, I'm just gonna go with this, with everything I have, because it gives you an opportunity that you don't have in your own country, really. So that's why I signed on. And I think it's been beneficial. The sales haven't been a million, but it's improved a little. I went from 1 to 3 copies, so it says somebody's seeing, somebody's hearing.
No, that is encouraging. So that Tropical Literature Creators was able to help, at least in some little way, to help people get that visibility and recognition, and that is fantastic.
That is true.
If it is that you had to perform like a seminar or a workshop, or even teach students in your class about getting their books published, what skills would you tell them that they should have in order to do so?
Okay, so publishing, one of the most important skills you need is to know what the softwares that you're gonna use. You have to really know your software. Like learning KDP wasn't easy for me. I spent nights upon nights reading, and when I tried to publish my first book, it took me so long. It was frustrating. The cover wasn't fitting. They were finding so much errors in the script, in the manuscript, and I had to be doing it over and over. And I got so frustrated that at one point I said, "Okay, I'm not gonna do this again. I'm not gonna try to do it again." But then I say, I can't give up. And then I went back. So here I was using Microsoft Word, and
Mhm.
they were asking that you either submit docs or Word or PDF. And then I was giving everything they were asking for, but it still wasn't going through. So I would advise anybody who wants to publish, you have to take your time and learn the different steps. Don't just rush into it, because when you rush in, you have to start all over again. And for me, is like, yes, you need to know the programs, but you also have to have that skills. Like you have to have good writing skills. You have to have your grammar and sentence. And so if you're not good at that, then I advise that you seek help for somebody who has done it, or you get a program. For me, Grammarly was a good choice, but then there are times when Grammarly doesn't fit into what I want. Because let's say I want to express myself using the Vincentian dialect. Grammarly would highlight all my stuff and try to change it up. And I would be like, no, 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 you're not changing this. This is what I want. I'm a Vincentian. I'm sticking to my dialect at times. So
Mhm.
yeah, but you really need to take time out to learn the program. You just can't rush in, because I took my time and I learned it, and now it's like I could write my book and I could publish within one day. just wait on Amazon to do their regular checks and have it. But for me now, it's like easy. No need to worry or stress. I know the steps, just take my time. If they come up with a problem, I just find the solution that I already learned, you know?
Hmm. That is progressive.
Yes, it is.
Uh, how has the reception been for the book so far? I know you mentioned, sales have increased from one to about three, but in terms of persons who read it or persons you'd have shared it with, I mean, what have the thoughts been in general?
I've sold a few copies on my own as well in terms of author copies. I bought a few just to see. I bought 6 copies. I kept one for myself and I sold the other 5. And like, there's one person who encouraged me to use KDP when I had a conversation with her. And one of the things I did when I bought my first copy, I sent her. I wrote thanking her for the opportunity to use KDP and so on. And I did ask for feedback when she read it, and she said, you know, it was inspiring, and she didn't just read it and kept it to herself. She lent it to a friend so the person could gain some inspiration and motivation like she did. And then, I spoke with other persons who read it, and I even gifted my mom one as her Christmas gift because I went back and bought several after I sold those. And my mom was like, oh, she read the book in one night. I said, but you didn't follow instructions. It said 21 days, so you have to go and start all over again, one chapter a day. So the feedback has been good from the persons I sold.
Hmm.
And, you know, it can only get better as we market and promote the book some more.
Oh, I've been getting feedback from persons is really encouraging. And it really helps you with, how it is that you can choose to approach things going forward. So I'm glad that you were able to get that from persons close to you as well.
Sure.
Uh, in terms of the topic of the book itself, the book deals with, the topic of mental health. As a teacher, do you think that topic is being covered sufficiently in schools from your point of view?
Um, I would say, well, because I'm a primary school teacher, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only that much you can cover, but I don't think it is covered enough because um one of the greatest challenges for a teacher is to teach their own children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have taught my son in a previous grade, and now I'm in a new grade, and he's in my class again. And dealing with my son in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom compared to dealing with him at home takes a total different tone on my mental health. It's like he did not understand the importance of being a student teacher compared to mommy and son. So it's like at times I would have to like really talk to him like hard to know like you cannot do this, you cannot get away with this. And he was like, but mommy, and I would say like I'm not mommy, I'm teacher. And it just mess with you mentally. So I don't think it's covered enough at the primary level. But then again, there's only that much the curriculum allows us to do, you know? There's like in the primary school, children are not really exposed to like violence and self-care. And some of them don't even understand what it means like to take a mental health break. Like there are times when I would tell my children, okay, teacher feeling overload. Let's get outside. Let's go for a nature walk. Let's breathe some fresh air apart from the classroom because it's getting too much. And they'll be like, why do we need to go to a walk? And I would be like, while we're on the walk, I'll say, do you feel the difference? Like the breeze blowing on your skin, the sun on your skin, just walking and having a different conversation apart from book walk. It kind of creates a balance. So for me, I think more can be done. But then again, I say it only allows us to go that much.
Okay. I I seem that you yourself would have been through the education system, primary school, secondary school, and now you're a teacher yourself. The skills that you would have acquired in terms of writing this book, and I would dare say being an entrepreneur, because after you write your book, you have to sell your book, and your book is sort of a business in a sense. Do you think that
Yes.
the things you learned in school helped you to be an entrepreneur, a better entrepreneur?
Um, well, for me, it's kind of hard there because I don't know if you guys do this in your country, but in my country, we stream when you get to secondary school. So
Mm-hmm.
I never really went through the business sections. I went through the science sections. So I
Oh.
never really learned anything about marketing and so on. So, like for me now, I have to learn all those skills on my own. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yes, school played a part because it would have helped me to become a better writer because I wrote at different stages and like even like when I did teacher training and all of those, you got a skills, you got a techniques to make your writing better. But in terms of marketing, that is a skill I had to learn on my own.
Mm. Uh, I in I'm just talking from my side of the fence from Trinidad. We would have covered, topics like principles of business because where you did subjects along the lines of sciences, I would have done subjects along the lines of modern studies. And yes, we would have done studies in terms of business, sole trader, limited liability company, what these things are. But in terms of the skills that you would have spoken about, marketing, graphic design, even being better able to balance books, etc., like where accounts are concerned, um, there was it was limited. I mean, school teaches you some things. You could say stuff to just basic things, but in terms of like being an entrepreneur, there aren't many subjects that you can cover to prepare you from this. I'm just talking from my side of the fence. So, if it is sort of education systems are similar, which I think that they are, I don't think
Yes,
that
they
you, I don't think that you really missed so much because how you had to study and learn things, I have also had to study and learn things as well. So we're kind of in the same boat.
all right.
Uh, So seeing that you've gotten this far, you've written 11 books, and what are your plans for? What are your future plans? What is next for Kemeisha?
Well, honestly, I am just going to keep writing. I do not know where my writing skills will take me. I hope they do take me somewhere good.
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm looking at the possibilities of like exploring different books now because I've been a teacher for 10 plus years. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is my 12th class or something like that now. And over those years, I've really gathered a lot of skills. Like I've done a lot of workshops, I've done a lot of programs on the side, and I'm looking to develop like a compact book for children doing exit exams. That's my goal. I want to do like this book that has like maybe 8 practice exercises or 4 per subject or something like that and put it together and see where it would go because I do like grade 6 classes, even though I'm not in the grade 6 class. I taught grade 6 for 6 years, CPA class for 6 years. So I have done question banking for CPA, CXE. So I'm on the verge to do my own question banking because you could develop content, and I just don't want to be doing like mental health or dream books or kids book. I want to take it to the educational level. Like I've seen children that would like come to me with reading problems. I've even learned how to teach reading and all of those things. So I want to go down that kind of road, not throwing away my starting point, but adding as I go.
Yeah, it sounds like I mean, for me, it sounds like you want to go the practical route, not so much, the
Yeah,
entertainment we are writing, but practical way of helping persons grow and develop and becoming better. And I
yeah.
guess you being a teacher, it contributes to that.
Yes,
Uh,
it does.
no, and I personally think you being a teacher, you would have a lot of experience, you would have a lot of insight, and if it is that you choose to go the route of writing for entertainment, etc., I'm pretty certain you would have a whole bunch of content and material to draw from your experiences, especially.
True, certainly.
Okay. Well, having said that, where can we get copies of your book if it is that we want to?
Oh, my books are on Amazon.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have most of them. Also, I have two of them on storyjumper.com.
Mm-hmm.
And one is also on Lulu, but it is on Amazon as well. Like I said, when I started out, I didn't really know much about self-publishing. So my first book was on Lulu, then it went to Amazon. And then I did Hibiscus Friends, a book I did with my son. We wrote it together, where it was basically telling about the life of the children in my class, what animals represented them, what they want to be when they grow up in the future, and why they chose that animal to represent them. So that was done on Story Jumper at the time because it gave me the best option in terms of graphics and so on. And then I have another one called Believe. So
Mm-hmm.
it's where I did a book about myself, the little girl in me who had the dream of becoming a singer by profession. Had the dream. That's not my dream anymore. Yeah, and I actually did a song called Believe, and I did the book. So the book is on Story Jumper. But the rest you can get on Amazon. I've tried to get the books that I have on Story Jumper on Amazon, but they're not allowing that. So I don't know. Maybe I need to go through different process in retrieving my books.
Okay. But wherever it is that it's located, we're glad that it's available because
Yeah.
from the sounds of things, it sounds like it'd be really useful to the readers and to the persons who actively exercise what it is that you put in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we're wrapping up the interview, is there anything that you'd like to leave with the persons who are listening to this particular interview, whether it's advice on maybe writing, whether it's advice on the publishing process, or just advice to persons who would have read one of your books? What would you like to leave with us?
um, I would just like to just say, believe in yourself because there comes a time when life is really gonna make you feel like your dreams are not possible. I felt that way once, and I had to dig deep and believe in myself and never stop taking opportunities to learn because there was a time when I thought I would never publish my book and I had it walking around for years. And just by conversations, don't be afraid to share. Don't share all your ideas because there are persons who would listen to you, discuss with you, and then they would steal your intellectual properties and make it their own. So share your ideas, but don't let go everything. But don't be afraid to ask for criticism as well. And when people give you feedback, take it positively. Don't be offended. And if it is that you got offended, just humble yourself and keep it to yourself and just reflect on what was said. The fact that somebody could give you honest feedback is very important in helping you to be a better writer and a better person. End it off, believe in yourself, and follow your dreams.
Well said, Miss Murray-Samuel. Well said. That brings us to the end of our interview. Thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed by Tropical Literature Creatives.
Thank you for having me, Tropical. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, we look forward to hearing great things about you and about your literary works.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye.
You've been listening to TLC, Tropical Literature Creators. If you've heard something of interest or something you like, reach out to us. Reach out to our authors. Follow us on social media. We look forward to hearing from you.